In this episode, I talk about Tom Brady and Valentine's Day. But first, coffee. How's it going, everybody? Glad to see you guys are back for another episode of But First Coffee. Today's episode number 18, and I'm talking about two particular topics, some questions that were sent in to me just yesterday. If you guys haven't seen these episodes yet, please hit subscribe at the bottom so you can stay up to date. But First Coffee is a self-help question and answer series where you send me questions in order for me to help you. So the first question is, regarding this past Sunday's Super Bowl, what are your thoughts on the rumor that Tom Brady purposefully avoided congratulating Nick Foles? So I don't know how many of you saw the Super Bowl. I think most of America was tuning in, whether you were rooting for the Patriots or Philadelphia or didn't really care who was involved in the Super Bowl. But most people took notice of the fact that after the game, after Philadelphia won, that Tom Brady didn't seem to really take the time to find Nick Foles and congratulate him on the Philadelphia's first franchise win and just Nick Foles' first Super Bowl win in general. My thoughts toward it, there's a lot of things that first come to mind. I think most of us can say that Tom Brady is definitely a great quarterback. He has so many Super Bowl rings. He will definitely go in history as one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. I think that's for certain. But with, being a champion, I think takes a lot of humility and it takes a lot of good sportsmanship. And I think that carrying that on and off the field consistently, no matter what the outcome of the game is or your life or whatever's going on, I think that's imperative to being a true champion. I don't know if he purposefully, didn't want to congratulate Nick Foles. I don't know if, obviously after the game, people are like storming the field and it's a huge thing. And, obviously it gets really hectic in there extremely quickly after a win like that, especially in the Super Bowl. It's one of the biggest, professional athletic platforms to ever play, So especially at a place like that, Super Bowl, where it's just such a big deal, it's very hard for people to kind of get around and talk to people. There's just so many people. It's just crazy at that moment. So do I think that he purposefully didn't find Nick Foles? I'm not sure. I really don't know. But I think that is it, as being a champion, regardless if you win or lose, I think it is very, very, very imperative that you congratulate the people, who won, whether it be, people on your team, on the opposing team, or other coaches or fans or whatever it may be, because at the end of the day, even though the outcome may not have been in his favor, I think it's, a true sign of respect to congratulate someone on, their win against you. Obviously there's a lot of emotions, before the game, during the game, and after the game, and I think that definitely impairs some of us mentally. With, regarding, what we do and how we say it and, the people we talk to and what we do post-game and during the game or whatever. And, I've been in a situation where, I've played a sport and, lost and didn't want to talk to anybody, whether it be my friends, my coaches, parents or whatever it may be. So I have been in there and it is tough, but I think, being on that stage and having that great opportunity to even be a professional athlete, in the Super Bowl, I think regardless of your win or loss, it's essential that you congratulate the other team. I think another thing that, professional athletes and just people in general need to take into account for is that at every moment of every day, at any moment, there's someone watching. There's always someone watching, and in Tom Brady's, shoes, there's a ton of our youth who look up to him, because he's just a great athlete. He has a lot of success. He's a champion, whatever it may be. And I think that you have to be a role model at all times, especially when there's people looking up to you. And, at that moment in time, whether he did it on purpose or not, I think doing the right thing and going out and seeking Nick Foles out, whether it be right after the game or post, game conference or whatever it is, I think congratulating him and making sure that it's known that, sportsmanship is super important, whether you win or lose, especially to our youth. Because, if you guys didn't check out my last video, go check it out. But I talked about participation trophies in sports. And one of the topics was that, winning or losing, teaching our kid that, if you lose, you lose, and if you win, you win. But at the end of the day, it's all about what you're learning and what you take away and all that kind of stuff. And I think that it's super important to make sure that our youth understand that, and just people in general, because in life you don't get what you want all the time, and even though that might suck, you still need to be grateful for the things that you have, and you still need to be encouraging to others and congratulating others on their wins, and not trying to bring people down or be spiteful of other people, regardless of the situation. So I think at that moment he should have done his all to find Nick Foles and congratulated him in the public eye, because that's where it really matters. Because at the end of the day, an icon, like Tom Brady, someone who's looked up to, who he's a headline in the news. He really needs to make sure that he's being a good role model for those who are looking up to him. So those are just my thoughts on that. And the second question, which is a completely different topic, but is a question that was sent in, and I thought it was a pretty good question. So here we go. Question number 2. Valentine's Day is 1 week away, and I'm not sure what to get my girlfriend. Any ideas? So Valentine's Day is about 6 days away. Today is February 8th, and Valentine's Day is on the 14th. And I know a lot of us are probably thinking about this if you have a significant other. If you don't, you're probably still thinking about it. But regardless, I think Valentine's Day is an interesting holiday per se. It's definitely not one of my favorites, and the reason being it's not my favorite is because I think that you should treat your significant other the same way year round, regardless of what day it is, whether it be their birthday, Christmas, Valentine's Day, anniversary day, whatever it may be. I think you should treat that significant other the same all the time, 24/7, regardless of whatever day it is. So those are my thoughts on it right off the jump. But I think Valentine's Day definitely does need to be a special day, especially for the ladies out there. That's just how I feel. I think as a male, doing something for your lady on Valentine's Day is very important, but it doesn't have to be anything real complicated. I think the simplest thing that you can do for her would be to send her some flowers or get her some flowers. I think flowers goes a long way for most ladies, and it's just a super classy move. A guy getting a female flowers means a lot. Girls love that shit. They love it. So definitely, regardless of what you do, definitely get her some flowers. Whether you get them sent to her work or you give them to yourself or whatever it may be, get her flowers. I think that would be number 1. Maybe a simple card. Saying that hey, happy Valentine's Day. You mean the world to me. You're awesome. I love you. Whatever it may be. I think a card goes a long way too. And I also think another thing that would be great would be dinner. Either take her out to dinner or make her dinner. I think just those few simple ideas that don't cost necessarily a lot of money is just great for something as simple as Valentine's. And if obviously you can always get her chocolate or candy if she's into that. But some girls aren't, whatever. But I think Valentine's Day is definitely a special time of the year, and I think it should be shared with your significant other. But definitely get her something, at least flowers. Don't go on Valentine's Day getting your girl anything, because I promise you that'll probably be your last Valentine's Day with her. So that concludes it for this episode of But First Coffee. It was a short episode, nothing too complex, but I appreciate all the questions you guys have sent in to me. If you have any other questions about self-help or what's going on in the real world or whatever it may be, I'm here to help you guys the best that I can. And at the end of the day, these videos aren't for me, they're for you. So if you like this video, please hit like at the bottom. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe so you can stay up to date with all the videos. And I will see you guys in the next But First Coffee.